All right, so let's start off by what went well that day. So I was super excited that your kids had you were getting their initial attention. You were using your teacher voice. I could see that you were like class, all of those things. You had the appropriate callbacks and you were waiting for that full compliance beginning of the lesson. So what do you think made that so successful?
Practice.
Okay.
The practice we did beforehand and the following week, because I've been practicing with them.
Yeah. You did a good job of getting their attention. So today I want to dive kind of into that next step of getting that clear routine for starting your lesson. So now you've got their attention, but now let's talk about how you're going to start it and then transition into your instruction. Okay? Sound good? So describe how you would begin your lesson. Like, what would you do first if you were in like perfect world?
Probably start off with like a question, maybe like a scenario, with like a prompt.
Okay.
Sort of thing.
Okay. And what about your learning target?
Oh yes. I do remember to keep going over that.
Yeah.
I do get forgetful.
So the learning target is probably where I would begin.
Okay.
That's going to be kind of, you've got their attention, they're looking at you. Now you have a learning target. This is what we are going to begin and learn for today, right? And I think that your lesson that you did, that we observed, you were getting their attention, they were on their seats, they were ready. And then if you would have begun with that learning target, right? Like today we're going to be learning, this is your goal, I can, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? Okay? So I do want to show you and this is not Miss Cornejo doing the learning target per se. This is more of just a routine of how to transition. So they're going to kind of go hand in hand, okay? So I want to show it to you and then we'll kind of talk about it. Let me see if I can get it.
The Declaration of Independence. We're going to break this up into chunks.
So just to preface it, she's doing a social studies lesson on the Declaration of Independence and kind of how they're getting to that point. So she's about to do what you tried in your lesson about the grouping. Okay, that transition part. Okay.
The chunks are on the board. So we want to continue to explain these cause and effect relationships between these events on our road to revolution.
I'm giving her
like doing a little bit of summarizing. You'll be summarizing your reading as a group. The expectation is you will read your assigned chunk. Okay, I'm going to tell you the numbers of the chunks. We'll be in six. Oh, I can't see that. We'll be in 6 groups. Each group is responsible for one chunk. So this will be number 1. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 chunks, 6 groups. You are responsible for summarizing that one chunk as a group. You will try to get your summary to 7 words only, which means I invite you to do some interacting with your text first. I should see numbering of paragraphs. I should see hashtag summaries or sketch and stretch or says means matters. I should see something happening in your text. That it? Yes, ma'am. At the end of your time, I want a 7-word summary. How many words? 7. What about 8 words? No. 6 words? No. How many words? 7. Yes. I should see 6 as long as there's 1 more, right? As long as you get to 7. I'm going to break you up into groups. I'm going to tell you the number of your group, and you're going to tell it back to me so you know which group you're in, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. All right. On the ones, you are going to read the section called the Second Continental Congress.
All right. So, thinking about what she did, and you saw she prefaced her lesson with like all of what they're learning and everything. So what do you think is the difference between kind of how your lesson went and how she did hers?
Difference is I didn't establish like what we're learning and why.
Okay.
Well, I guess like in my mind I kind of didn't go over it because it was like a culmination of now that we've learned all these things, we're going to implement it in these projects. But I should have stated that.
Sure. Okay.
And what else?
And I also feel like your kids got very concerned about their groups right off the bat, because that was kind of the first thing you led the lesson with. You got their attention, and then you're like, we're going to get in groups, and then they just were like, I want to work with it, right? Yeah. So you see how she kind of like took that beginning, this is what we're learning, this is the expectation, this is what you're doing, and then she kind of took the choice away, right? Yeah. Like she didn't give them the choice of a group. She numbered them, and they were going to follow the number that she told them, right? Yeah. So what do you think, so our action step would be, what do you think it should be? So you got their attention. What do you think we should work on next to close that gap?
Work on stating the learning target.
Okay. Yep.
Why? Why are we doing
Why? Good. Yep. I think that's perfect. To transition into your lesson with the with the learning target and goal for your instruction, right? Stating it clearly, modeling it. She didn't have to model it per se. You can tell that she's given these directions before, right? Her class knows. But you may have to model it. You may have to do it again. You may have to have them practice over and over, right? You're writing down the action step. Awesome. So where would be a good place to put this in your lessons?
Well, right after I get their attention.
And what content?
What content?
Where do you have learning targets?
All
of them. There you go.
I was like, I was gonna just say
like all of them. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Like that is just that initiation of your lesson. Yeah, in all your contents. Good. So what kind of action steps do we need to take? What do you think? What's like our number one? If we were to like map it out into like micro actions, what would you do? You have their attention, so that's our first one, right? Well, you already did that, right? You have their attention. Now what?
Now, I would say, today we're going to be learning about such and such. We're going to be learning about such and such because of this. This is my why. Point up to the learning target.
Yeah, you have it up there, right? You do, yeah.
And sometimes I remember, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But I like to go over there and be like,
it might be crazy what I say.
That always catches me off guard.
I know.
Every day, for attendance, I'm like.
So number one would be, state your learning target. It's on the board. You have it there. So you just give the why.
Give why.
Would you do anything, like what about those kids that aren't listening, right? You can tell they're zoning out or they're doing something silly or whatever. What could you do with the learning target to kind of get them engaged as well?
I think one way is to ask them, so why are we asking them? So why are we learning how to do this?
Yeah.
What is our learning target? Like, why are you
calling them a little bit?
I've been starting to do that a little bit. I started a little bit of doing that today. And also last week because we were doing plot, right? We were still doing plot. And I asked them, we were filling out the plot diagram, and so for the story we were reading, for each one, we would go over one each day. I was like, okay, climax. What is the climax of my story? And they all just looked at me like,
no idea.
No.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you not want to read the story? We read the story, like, some of them read it twice, at least once. I was like, oh, well, we don't know. We need to reread the story. They're like, no. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You didn't know? So we need to go back over it.
Okay.
So I, like, brought the story back up.
Okay.
Everyone get out their story.
Yeah.
Let's read through it again.
Yes. Okay.
I want you guys, like, I'm not going to give it to you. You guys need to tell me.
Right. So if they're not listening to your learning target, I think cold calling them is okay. Repeat this after me. What is our learning target today? What are we learning? That's going to definitely help when we come in to do our walkthroughs as well, because we ask your kids, what are you learning? Why are you learning it today, right? So I think that's a good next step too. Like, if you need to, for those kids not getting it, having them cold call and repeat it back to you. Okay. And then initiating your lesson. Now, you may not be putting them in groups every single time, right? But just kind of, I think your class is at a point right now where the choice is just gonna have to go.
Yeah. They cannot handle
No,
it.
they cannot. So just kind of keeping that in mind, like being purposeful with some of that in your lesson. Okay. So you want to practice it? I'm gonna let you practice it with me. I'm gonna be the student. That's okay. As much as you need.
Okay.
You could even just use that usually. One of them. I don't. Whatever you want to teach.
Okay. Oh, do I need to be in the camera?
I mean, you're good. There you go.
Okay. I was calling.
No, it's okay.
Alright, everybody's eyes on me. I will not start until I see everybody's eyes. And I look at each one. Alright, so today we're in reading. We are going to be identifying the author's purpose. That is what we are working on today. We want to know why the author is writing what they're writing, the reason why. Okay, so we're going to be working with a nonfiction story. Nonfiction means what?
Whatever. Answer. Yeah.
Okay. Answer.
Yeah.
Not real.
Yeah.
Right.
And would you cold call them
sorry.
on that one?
I would.
You would?
Yeah. Or I would just ask the class as a whole. I'm like,
Okay.
And nonfiction means, can someone remind me what is nonfiction? And they say, oh, it's a
Informational text or whatever.
Yeah. So this is a real story or something, a true story. So we want our why behind why we are learning this. We want to explain how the author uses imagery to help the reader convey his message. Okay? So imagery, we haven't really talked about that yet, but we will later on. But we want to be able to explain why the author is, we want to be able to explain how the author is conveying his message.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the whole class paying attention. They're all listening. They were like paying attention to you. So now let's do it again. And I'm going to be like messing in my desk. Oh, is something?
No, it's just my alarm to remember to clock out.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So I need everybody's eyes on me. I'm not starting until I have everybody's eyes. Cassie, I need your eyes. Keep your hands to yourself. Thank you. Alright, so today in reading, we are going to be working on identifying the author's purpose. That's the reason why they're doing, the reason why behind what they're writing. Cassie, remember, gotta keep our hands to ourselves. Uh-oh.
It's really loud. So then if I'm messing in my desk, what would you say to me? You've started the learning target, and then what did you say you would do?
Oh,
there it goes.
Attention Sinclair U, right now it's 3:45 in the cafeteria. Thank you. I'm sorry, library. Correction, library, 3:45. Sinclair U. Thank you.
Okay. So let me start.
Yeah.
Okay. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be identifying the author's purpose, the reason why behind writing. Cassie, what are we learning about today?
And so they may not know, right? So then I would say you could call in another
No.
student to repeat,
Yeah, you
and then
just-
I repeat that student,
Mhm.
right? You can do that. Something like
Sometimes I say, do you need to phone a friend?
that. Perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like
or
that.
I'll say, Janita, can you help?
Yes.
Cassie?
There
what
you
are
go.
we doing today?
Yes. Perfect. I
Okay.
think that would be good. That gets them all back with you. I wouldn't, but also make sure not to give them an out. Right? Like, Janita, help me, but then I need to repeat what Janita just said.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
Okay, yeah, so I would say, okay. So you need to phone a friend.
Yes.
So, Janita, what are we learning today? Oh, we're identifying authors. Cassie, what are we learning today?
We're learning about author's purpose today.
Thank you. Yes, author's purpose, the reason why.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that little bit of starting that lesson and getting you started in transition and all of their attention and keeping their attention focused is going to help you. Okay? So, anything you think we need to add to our script, or you want to add anything here? Maybe the phone a friend?
Phone a friend?
I mean, you could add that maybe just in case. And you do the phone a friend already, but maybe it's the part of having them repeat back, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. So how did that modeling feel? What do you think? How are you thinking? If you start it with learning turn, you think it'll be good?
Yeah.
Think it'll help?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So what made it successful? What made you feel good about it, I guess?
What felt good
You got
about
the
it?
teacher voice.
I have my teacher voice down. Yes. I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm working hard on making sure I have my nice, solid, firm
Yeah.
teacher voice.
Yeah, it's there.
Making sure I try to make sure I don't just stay in one spot
That's a good
and
idea.
just like
Okay.
I like to try to like walk around because I also can catch other students if they're not paying attention. If I'm walking around,
Sure.
I don't have to like shout, Johnny, why?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, you know, and just stop what I'm saying or lose my train of
Mhm.
thought. I can just go over and be like,
hmm And I do think that if you're asking them to repeat what they're saying, you would hope in the end it's going to make them pay more attention, because they're going to be like, oh no, she's going to call on me, right?
Mhm.
And then keeping them in that same spot too. Like, they're at their desk, they're all paying attention, you're getting their attention, you're giving them their focus for the day. And then if you do choose to do the stations, or you do choose to group them or something like that, you've given all that purpose and explanation first before sending them out, or movement happens or something like that. But I would just be super careful with that choice for right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
No
definitely.
lesson learned, no more
Yeah, I
choice.
would definitely take that away.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we will plan for us to, I'll come back in and just kind of see how it's going, and then we'll meet again. Okay. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.